What's up everybody, I'm Gogito and I'm bringing you guys another reaction video of the Ultra Vegito Manga. I decided to make it much more frequently, so I'm going to be posting at least one part or at least two parts per day, so I can catch up to the story as well. So yeah, let's get into it.
So our story continues with the god killer Vegito, left all alone in the aftermath of his explosion of power. In the middle now of a wasteland of destruction, absolutely covered in a raucous of black lightning.
Vegito, nice job.
Now, of course,
You moron!
the first of the five strongest. And for a moment, Vegito looks down in deep thought in a moment of silence, completely unaware that all around him, the rest of the Z fighters that were once around him, including the Supreme Kai, are still nowhere to be seen. Before he then lets
Most
out,
likely dead.
Once more I escaped the grips of death.
Yeah, you did.
That was close. It almost doesn't seem real that I made it out in one piece.
Yeah, that was actually quite surprising.
So this is the kind of power the Grand Priest will have.
Not likely. Most likely higher, as he said
solemn and
himself.
reflective mood, though, doesn't last long before Vegito raises his left fist.
I remember the good said that
comments,
even the Grand Priest is stronger than him.
What matters in the end is that I am alive. The ultimate avenger remains, and so too does the death sentence of the gods.
Yeah,
but
true.
my, this energy you gave me, gods, it's so pure. So perfect. I used to think the power of the angels was the strongest I could ever get. The key
seems
to
like you're wrong.
defeating Xeno. But how wrong I was. This power is on a whole new level.
Yeah, it does look like it a lot.
But once he looks down to his right arm though, he remembers that he is still holding on to the mysteriously powerful sword of the first of the five.
Oh yeah,
and
sword
staring at it,
of
he
destruction,
comments,
if I remember correctly.
And this, I almost forgot your energy wasn't the only gift you left me, Guts.
Or you stole from him, but
so sharp, it could cut through not only me, but one of the five strongest in the multiverse, as if he were butter.
Yep.
You did mention that even Xeno feared this blade, didn't you?
Wait, he did? I don't remember him saying that.
Before immediately, as if playing with a new toy, tossing it into the sky with ease, sending it spinning rapidly in the air, cutting through the atmosphere like a helicopter's rotors.
Bruh.
Before inevitably falling down and perfectly being caught in the palm of the God Killer's hand. Now looking to the giant sword in his possession with his side eye, Vegito continues.
He still has a Majin
And
eyes.
the reason for that is why. A demon emperor locked inside, did he say? Exactly what even is that? And why was he so fearful?
Most likely a powerful demon, if I have to guess correctly.
The only demon I ever knew was Dabura. He was a demon king, wasn't he? And he didn't exactly last too long with me.
Yeah.
Even Gohan as a kid could have dealt with him.
Bruh, this disrespect is
must
big.
have just been losing his mind. He did say he'd lived for even longer than the gods.
Yeah.
But despite reassuring himself, Vegito would then hold out the blade further, looking it up and down before letting out. But losing his mind or not, I must see this emperor for myself. Call me cocky, but right now, I need something to test this new power on.
Yeah.
I feel unbeatable, and I'm practically itching to unleash it in a meaningful way. But just how do I even get this damn demon out?
Most likely break the
Eventually,
sword.
though,
If I remember
thought
good, said
comes
that
to
if you break the
Vegito,
sword, it will release the
as he
emperor.
adds, I
So,
guess if
I
he's
guess
trapped
breaking
in
the
the
sword?
it has to be the same kind of deal as what happened with the Elder Kai.
Maybe.
If I remember correctly, the Supreme Kai summoned Kachin, the hardest known metal in the universe.
Yeah.
And one swing of the Z-Sword was all it took to snap in half and free him.
Yeah.
With an angel staff in my possession, I'm sure I can pull off the same.
Yeah, it does seem possible.
Когато къпането стане скучно, без
Ни
петрол го прави
пука!
по-забавно.
Може
С
да и-
новите шампуани Телкидо.
Никой не се интересува.
който постоянно гони новото.
Тези реклами към да се
Виждаме
бога.
радостта отвъд. Тази година.
Much better.
Come to me! And just like that, Vegito summons back the angel staff
why is it
that was
upside
once
down?
formerly owned by Whis. And with an authoritative tap on the ground, Vegito would then strike the bottom of his
Damn.
staff onto the ground below,
Like a gong.
creating a soothing bell tone.
If you don't know what
through
that
the
is,
air
basically like a
until,
giant.
just like that,
I
a
don't know why
large
I'm trying to
solid block of
explain.
Kachin, the toughest and strongest metal known in the multiverse, is then summoned in the sky before the God Killer.
I wonder if Vegito is wrong or ours
Slowly,
just
as
says
Vegito makes his
incorrectly.
angel staff now disappear after
Feels
completing
weird.
its task, the intimidatingly large cube of Kachin ebbs closer and closer towards Vegito. Come! Before with a commanding tone, Vegito smirking, confidently then summons the metal object with his hand to move to him properly, as he says under his breath, "Let us see what the blade of destruction is truly made of."
Yeah.
And just like that, on command, the unfathomably heavy block of Kachin
I wonder if it's actually
rushes
gonna cut
towards
it.
the God Killer with insane speed, looking like a complete blur before him until Vegito in quick response then holds tight to the sword handle with all his might and swings the blade backwards like a baseball bat, ready to attempt to slice the Kachin in half fruitlessly and thus break the sword in half as expected. Time to get you out of there, demon!
But I wonder if that's
As
gonna
Vegito
work.
then braces
It
himself
can't be that
in perfect
easy.
stance,
Nothing
his
for you is
Godslayer
easy,
blade
Vegito.
now within touching distance to the still unstoppable Kachin until unbelievably the once thought
I knew
unbreakable
it.
block of Kachin is sliced clean in half, and instantly after that the two sides of the block erase, also under the power of her kind. You're kidding me! This thing can do what the Z-Sword couldn't!
Yeah.
Leaving Vegito stunned
This
into
sword was
near
made by God's
silence
destruction. If
as
that
his
thing is
whole
basically made
reality
by God's man, more
understanding
powerful
how
than God's
strong
destruction,
this blade
what do you expect is
was,
gonna happen?
then
You think
comes
that
into
block of
complete
Kachin is gonna do anything?
The remnants of the Kachin block disappearing right before his black
Most it
eye.
kind of makes sense.
And in the aftermath, Vegito just stands in silence, looking down at what is now just thin air, staring down at the drooping blade, which hasn't got a dent on it, as he says, "This blade, what is it? Not even Kachin can stop it.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too optimistic, but how could the Supreme Kai and Gogito have had so much faith in the Z-Sword but not know of whatever this is?
Well, they weren't the
guess it
highest
matters
gods,
not
remember?
now.
Jeez. Someone did not do their history
Before
work.
Vegito then begins smiling once more,
Wait, is he
changing
about
his
to
tune
try
as he
break
then
it with his
holds
bare
the blade
hands?
forward before him.
I mean, yes,
One
he may be
hand
strong,
firmly
but
gripped on either side
can he even
as he
break
looks
Kachin
on
with
at
his
it
bare
and
hands?
continues. After all, if striking the strongest metal in the multiverse can't break this thing, then all we have to do is let the strongest mortal in the multiverse try his hand instead.
But didn't you just say you're not just a simple mortal now?
That said,
But I guess
Vegito
that
then
makes
tightens his
sense.
grips even
In a way.
further and begins powering up his near endless energy, surrounding himself in a sparkling black lightning as the
Damn it,
ground
this black
and
lightning.
rocks
I'm
around
so
him begin
pondering
to
about
rumble
this.
and levitate slowly into the air.
This has always been pondering in the back of my head about this black lightning.
Soon as the
It
weight
can't
of
be
the power
something normal.
increases even
It can't be
further,
just from
even his
Vegito's
feet
rage.
begin to
It
break
has
the
to do
very
with something.
ground of the planet
It
below,
has to, doesn't
shattering
it?
it into many pieces.
Makes me brought a lot of questions to my mind.
But with the increase in power, Vegito soon realizes that despite it, the sword remains steadfast, not bending in the slightest, as he thinks,
Really?
"Odd, I can't even feel this thing tremble.
Wow.
Surely power like this should have done something by now. Enough of this! You will bend to my will, sword!
I don't think that's going to do
Vegito in
anything.
a burst of rage and frustration.
Maybe Kaioken will
unleash
do a
what
trick.
seems like his
Maybe.
full power, as his eyes and mouth all burst wide open. And from afar, this is especially apparent when Vegito's
If this doesn't
burst
do
of
anything,
energy
I don't know if
was like
Kaioken
a
is about to
roaring
do
fire
something. I
in
mean,
the
Kaioken is
furnace,
pretty useful, but
blasting into the sky
Kaioken
itself,
could possibly may pull off the
dismantling what's
trick.
left of the
But I don't think
surrounding
Vegito can even think
areas.
about it right now. Jeez, that's actually too much of an
Eventually,
effort.
This culminates in a truly mass explosion as Vegito's uncontainable power bursts out even further. Of course, nothing but thick smoke is seen once the energy dissipates, and there is a calming silence. But once the smoke too is all gone, what is left behind is a giant crater where Vegito's
Jeez,
energy
people had
had
that
eaten
much of
away
an
at
effort?
the surface of the planet.
Damn, this thing is not even budging
In
at
the middle
all.
of it all, though, is what seems like a partially exhausted Vegito, still staring at the unmoved blade in complete disbelief.
Damn, this thing must be
Muttering
really
out,
tough.
"This is unbelievable. This thing just withstood near enough my full power.
Wait, really?
Gone a little further, but it would have been no use. This sword, it's not moving even at the molecular level."
Wow. Even at the molecular level?
Before
That's
immediately without
really
warning,
something.
Like guts before him, he then slams the sword into the ground, resting on it with his body weight as he catches his breath once more. But looking down with a sweat, revealing just how hard the God Killer
Wow.
was indeed trying in his attempt to break it, Vegito finally lets out, "For something so thin and light, just how could it be this strong? Are all weapons of the gods like this? Or could it be that just whatever's inside this is even stronger than me?" But trying to bat away such a thought, Vegito then grunts out,
Of course.
"Don't be ridiculous. Holy magical warriors with their holy magical swords. Probably some kind of weird seal preventing it from being broken. That's all.
Could
And that's
be
all
the
there
thing.
is to it."
Could be it.
Before Vegito then begins lifting his left hand and continuing, "Besides, whatever this blade is, it's mine now. The stronger it is, the more useful it will be against those two." Before eventually raising his arm right into the sky and immediately creating a time portal. But just as fast, Vegito moves his arm again and opens a second portal right
Why
in
though?
front. "I'll make use of you one day." Before quickly tossing the blade
Oh,
into the unknown
just putting it to a
time
side.
portal. And with that said, Vegito would then approach quickly the final time portal in front of him, saying as he steps foot, "Now, it's finally time to get back to dismantling the gods. Or at least what's left of them." Before
Yeah.
eventually disappearing
Not much.
just as swiftly
Not much is
as
left.
the blade of destruction before him. But soon the scene shifts to a strange but familiar toddler-like creature holding
Oh,
a tablet
it's Xeno,
that is indeed
isn't it?
watching Vegito's every move. And when the scene zooms out, it is of course
Oh,
an
of course he's
awestruck
enjoying
Xeno,
this.
with
Of
his carefully
course.
watching Royal Guard
This
in
guy
the
is just
background.
childish.
With a youthful yell,
A
the Omni King
child!
says,
Bruh,
"Wow,
that sounds
Son
stupid.
Goku has gotten really strong now, hasn't he? He even beat that cool sword guy. He used to be so much fun to watch, and now Son Goku has his power too. Doesn't that make him nearly as strong as you now, Dai?"
Huh?
Soon revealing that
I
this
guess
Dai
you and me were
character
confused
was
as
actually
well.
referring to the Dai Shinken himself. As the Grand Priest reacts,
Die.
"Stronger than me?" Under his breath, the Dai Shinken would then bow his head, and with a visibly triggered face would whisper, Don't be ridiculous. No, Xeno-sama, he isn't quite on my level yet. You know
Yet.
firsthand that nobody's power entertains you more than mine. Isn't that right, my lord? I'm afraid that Saiyan has a long way to go still, even if he somehow managed to deal with gods. And in response to this, with an innocent smile, Xeno would say back, you're right, Dai. I've never had more fun than when I watch you fight. You're the coolest ever. But Son Goku is pretty fun to watch too. You should really send the rest of the 5 strongest to fight him, just like you did with Guts. But before suddenly
What the-
Xeno's tone and mannerisms change instantly, creating a dark atmosphere, and Xeno then says
That was a
coldly,
big switch.
looking at the Grand Priest without blinking, if you ever try to ruin my fun behind my back again, you will be sent to the same place as your brother.
Jesus.
No, not there! Leaving the
Jesus,
Grand Priest
that-
for the first
that
time
just
in the
gives me a
series in complete
chills.
fear and paralysis, as his trembling body can't help but move involuntarily.
Okay, that was
as he
really
whispers, Yes,
something.
my lord. I will send the rest of the 5 at once. Please, forgive me. But soon, once again, the scene shifts to an unfamiliar sight. A landscape of mountains with 2 finger-like apparitions standing atop one of them.
In life, some things aren't that
In
intuitive.
life, I'm gonna punch you in the
That's why when it
face
comes to
and
trading,
But as we move in closer, it is revealed to be Arak, god of destruction of Universe 5, meditating peacefully
The
behind
iguana
an ancient
face.
fire, while his angel, Kukatail, stands silently behind him until, with a hint of trepidation, the angel would
honestly,
let out,
I find that name funny.
My lord, I am afraid Lord Jin has now fallen too.
That bastard
You
deserved
remain
it.
now as one of the last 3 gods, and I remain as one of the last 3 angels. Inevitably, the God Killer will be coming for us next. If not today, it will be tomorrow. How do you choose to proceed? Do you want me to summon our universe's greatest warriors in response? But Arak,
Were they about to do
seemingly
anything, huh?
unbothered, and still with his
But you
eyes
beat almost
closed deep in
everybody.
meditation,
You think
would just
your
say
fire's about to
back,
do anything? Bruh. Don't make me laugh.
No. Sullying those innocent warriors with our debt will do nobody any favors.
At least someone,
Unnecessary bloodshed is not what I desire.
at least someone has
When he
common
arrives,
decency.
we will stand tall
Very
as the
small.
gods we are, and face this evil head on. Do not be fearful, Kukatail. We have faced far worse in the past, with the likes of Lucifer.
That
This
elusive name
character,
again.
He's still just a mortal.
I wouldn't be so
But
sure.
just as Arak says this, in front of both the god and angel, a time
He's not
portal
just any
suddenly
simple
opens,
mortal now.
much to the shock of the duo. And of course, a familiar foot steps out and says, "Just the mortal." At this point, I'm not even surprised you gods still say that like it's an insult. Just another example of your contempt for those you rule over. But I do have a question. After everything I've done, everything you've seen, can you really not tell by now? I am not mortal anymore! As a base
Yeah.
Vegito is finally revealed in a monstrous
Like
sight,
Jesus.
as on his left arm, his cell tail is let loose, while on his right, completely, it has become a loose wave of signature pink margin goo.
Yeah.
As the once pure Saiyan showcases his tri-hybrid android margin and Saiyan body. Before, with his head down and of a truly
Jesus.
inhumane and beastly look, Vegito coldly commands, "Now, Give this mortal the energy he deserves! But Arak, seemingly still unbothered, just quickly gets onto his feet, his arms behind his back, as with an almost disinterested tone, he says, So this is that Universe 7 Saiyan? What on earth was Beerus doing allowing such a creature to thrive?
Man, shut up.
He does seem different now, however. It seems he's undergone some changes while I was meditating.
Wait, you were meditating that long?
What is the meaning of this? To which the contrastingly nervous-looking angel would just say back while not taking his eyes off Vegito. Honestly, you don't want to know, my lord. You have been in meditation for a long time, preparing that ability.
That
But
ability.
just know, the
Interesting.
God Killer now is not someone to take lightly.
Yeah. None of us like this.
Enough! Both of you die here! But not willing to waste a single second
Huh,
more,
so he's that confident
Vegito
taking him
launches a
in
completely
base.
un-Saiyan-like
I mean,
attack, as
it
both
makes
his
sense, I
Cell
guess.
and Majin Buu Goo extend straight out of his arms at speed. What? Cougar-tail, watch out! Leaving both Arak and his angel attendant stunned to attention, whether they feared the God Killer or not, with Vegito switching his arms, making sure the Celltail would head for the angel, while the Boo portion would reach Arak, attempting for the first time to absorb two divine entities at the same time.
Huh.
But of course, such a straightforward attack was hardly going to be enough for a god, let alone an angel. And both Arak and Cougar-tail jumped straight into the air, looking below at the failed attack of Vegito. What? That is, of course, until right above the angel, a time portal instantly opens, a void into the unknown, but with a certain object about to poke out.
Celltail.
What is that? Wait, no, how? But as Cougar-tail begins to see whatever this object is, he begins to
It's not
shudder in
how,
panic and confusion.
but
Not
why?
being able to understand how
Because
it had now
you're about to
appeared
get
right
it, you
in front of him.
mother bitch.
And out of the portal, a slow-moving Celltail is inexplicably then revealed, along with Vegito's laughing voice, and not for long before...
Oof.
With the ridiculous speed, too fast
Right
for
in
even
the
an angel.
forehead.
After Vegito's recent power increase, the needle of the Celltail stabs straight through the forehead of Cougar-tail. Oh, get off!
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Unbelievably, despite piercing right through his skull, Cougar-tail somehow remains sentient, struggling as much as he can with all
At
his
least you're
might
stronger than
to
most of your
remove the
siblings.
absorption device,
Well,
with
physically.
him having seen plenty of times now what it would soon do to him. Cougar-tail! And of
Yeah, it's
course,
kinda
his
too late for
destroyer
him.
student, watching on, would only stare with a look of panic, not knowing what was even happening.
Гостите приключват на Коледа.
Не ми...
Изгодните оферти в Kaufland.
Пука!
Не свършват.
But before Arak could figure anything out, the
Jeez.
gruesome absorption of the divine angel is complete, as Cougar-tail's once bulky
Wow.
figure is reduced down to nothing but a shell of his former self,
Wow.
resembling more fine leather than an angel from above.
Ugh.
And viciously, like a snake dragging its prey back into its den, the Celltail retracts back just as fast into the time portal, dragging the angel's lifeless body along with it until both then disappear along with the time portal that was once there.
Damn. That's
What
cool.
have you done to him? Causing the god of
Isn't it
destruction
obvious?
to become enraged.
He fucking
as he
killed him,
flexes
you
what little muscles
idiot.
he has and yells,
Wow.
How dare you take him? Bring him back! When I find you, I will. Huh?
Boy,
But as
he
Arak
gone.
looks around to where Vegito once was,
He gone
a
for
look of
real.
shock approaches his face. Where the hell did you go? As he soon realizes, just like with his angel, not a trace of Vegito remains around him anymore either, leaving the god bemused. Open your eyes wide, a fool! Until a helping hand in the form of Vegito's voice calls from somewhere on the battlefield. Why you? Running already, are we?
No,
The god
just
instantly
mocking
turned
you.
with rage,
If I have to
ready
guess
spot
correctly.
wherever the god killer
He's
was
just
hiding.
mocking you at this point.
How did you? But unfortunately,
Knew
Vegito
it.
was far from
I
hiding.
knew it.
To the sheer terror and surprise of Arak, the base form Vegito appears right in front of the destroyer, smiling in his face as he goads. Running? That's a funny way to describe me waiting right behind you. Now, what were you saying?
He even activated the
You find
Majin
me,
eyes.
you were going to do
Interesting.
what exactly? You ugly freak.
Yeah,
To which the muttering and
he's
horror
ugly, but I've
Arak
seen much
would
more
just
phrases than I've
whisper,
seen in some other characters as
Kuka.
well.
Kukatail, what have you done with him, you vile beast? Bring him here at once!
He's dead, my friend. Fucking gone.
To which a now giggling with confidence Godkiller would just then
So he's
reply,
activating his black eye.
Oh,
Huh.
how adorable! You just want to see your dear master again, don't you?
Yeah,
Well,
even though he's
lucky
gone.
for you, I can have that arranged. Feel free to say a final goodbye, but just don't expect him to say much back. Before immediately
so he's
his
about to
left
summon an
eye goes
apparition.
black and activates a certain ability.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What is he doing now? Leaving the confused Arak to just
I think you
watch
should
on
have known.
nervously,
Have you not
knowing
seen
whether
every
the same
battle, you
bluffing
fucking
or not.
moron?
Lord,
Man, I'm sweating a lot.
Arak. But from the side of the destroyer, a familiar voice that could only belong to one divine being calls out to him. And cautiously, the sweating Arak would then slowly turn his eye to the side until... Kukatail! In a traumatic scene, Kukatail is indeed brought
An
back to the
apparition.
side of his god of destruction, but now under the control of Vegito. And also, is nothing more than an energy apparition to be used as a tool by the god killer. What's wrong? I thought you wanted to say goodbye. You! What have you done? You dare use him like a mere toy?
His energy, not
Instantly
him,
now
but
turning
yeah.
the fear into rage, the god raises his back. Moving quickly then towards Vegito with his
What are you
arm
about to
pulled
even
back,
do?
ready to attack. But looking down, Vegito would only meet this with a smile, saying,
Honestly, I think you're just knowing about Child's Play doing
So
right
you
now.
want to say goodbye to me instead, do you? Go for it. But unfortunately, as Arak's punch lands
Really?
on the chest of Vegito, nothing but a dull thud is heard in response.
Idiot. Complete
Are you
idiot.
sure you even care about that angel? Just what was that supposed to be?
Yeah,
Don't get cocky!
I think he can.
Immediately then
Your
launches
physical
into a
attacks are
flurry
basically
of
doing
kicks and
nothing.
punches, all at hyper speed against the torso of Vegito. But just like before, they don't seem to be doing much against the flinchless
Yeah.
god. Can you hurry up already and start trying? All this tickling is sending me to sleep.
Honestly, me too. I'm starting to get tired as well.
Immediately then stopping the exhausted god in his tracks as he eventually realizes the futility of his attacks. Just thinking to himself, what is going on here? Did he somehow manage to absorb my energy too?
Nope.
Why are my attacks doing nothing? Aren't I at full strength? You are at full strength, my ugly little friend. instantly being interrupted by a giggling
Yeah,
Gogito,
he's basically
who
just
explains
doing
further,
nothing at this point because of how
the
strong
only
he is
problem,
now.
though, is I'm just on a totally different level now.
Exactly.
You now are as weak to me as the millions of Earthlings you murdered were to you.
Yeah.
But this comment only creates annoyance and anger with Arak, as he grimaces and retorts, preposterous. This is the kind of warrior Beerus had in his universe? There's no way. Such power would have increased their mortal level far beyond the other universes. At this rate, if physical attacks will have no effect, then I'll have to get rid of him the only way a destroyer knows how.
But is it gonna work though?
Web of Arak!
Wait,
And
what?
suddenly, without warning, Arak opens his mouth wide open, along with the full whiskers on each side of his face, flaring up and releasing simultaneously a strange golden web of aura in all directions.
What the?
Straight for Gogito. Immediately launching the mysterious web straight at him as he stands still, just either frozen in shock or just without fear. For a minute though,
More
as
like
it approaches,
confusion.
he does wonder momentarily. What is this? Spider-Man? What? But despite the underestimation of Arak's web, once it hits, Gogito himself completely is trapped to attention. His arms and legs binded towards his body.
So it did work?
Why? Why won't this budge? And unbelievably,
Wait,
even
really?
when Gogito attempts to struggle free, nothing moves. Damn it! Did I make a mistake here? This thing, it's strong! Leaving the God
Surprisingly.
Killer now with a panicked look as he stares into the eyes of the destroyer before him. And approaching the God Killer now with the tables
Cocky
turned
now.
is Arak, who cockily lets out with his arms behind his back. Not so tough now, are you, Saiyan?
I mean, you just
Of course,
You're
you
not
wouldn't
making
be
an
able
attack
to
anymore.
break through this mortal wall. It is, after all, something not even the Dai Shinken could free himself from.
wait, really?
What? Instantly gaining a reaction from Gogito, who questions, what do you mean? What's powering this thing? To which the now smiling widely Arak would say back, my. You're very curious for one on the cusp of death. This web is the 2,000-year-old web of my being. Powered
2000?
and strengthened by my energy for millennia. Each and every time I meditated, I poured more of my energy into this. Today, that energy within this web would be enough to stop anyone. Just I never thought there would be such a fool brazen enough to stand still for it. Your overconfidence will be your downfall.
Cannot free himself.
And with complete disrespect, as Arak gets closer, he smacks the God Killer right
Wait,
across the
what are we
face
doing
while
something?
yelling, "Dirty scum!"
Man, shut up.
Leaving Vegito's cheek bruised as a single line of blood oozed down from his mouth. But not finished yet, the god would carry on with a look of rage. You disgust me.
Man,
I
shut up.
wanted to save this attack one day to fight my best friend in one final battle before I retired.
Best
But
friend.
you killed him before that could ever happen. You killed Jin.
That bastard deserved it.
But on hearing this, a strange sense of accomplishment comes to Vegito, as a sinister smile emerges and he laughs.
That bastard deserved what he did to Gaiba.
That
Don't you
fish
dare
face was
try.
your friend?
Yeah.
Or you?
Yeah.
You should have heard how he screamed in his final moments.
And what a
More
prick
like
he
a
was.
baby than a god.
Yeah,
But at least
I
you know
agree.
now. just how it feels to lose the people closest to you.
Yeah, doesn't feel good, does it?
Shut up! But quickly to interject, Arak moves his palm at speed towards Vegito's face, at first looking like another slap, but his hand just stops short until... Hakai! With the chant of destruction, Arak screams to the heavens themselves, conjuring up every
Is it
inch of
actually about to
Hakai
work?
energy within him. Initially leaving Vegito stunned, as it seems even he didn't anticipate such a follow-up, but with the attack being so quick, soon Vegito's entire face is lost in the light, as he just mutters quietly, "No!" Before immediately, Vegito's entire body is engulfed completely by a concentrated
Damn.
pool of Hakai. As from the outside, Vegito appears as nothing more than a muddied silhouette, while inside... A blood-curdling scream is heard by none other
Wait.
than Vegito.
He's actually
who
hurting him?
seemingly bears the complete brunt of the Hakai, his whole body tense and open wide as his yells seem to be never-ending.
Свали глово, поръчай храна, продукти.
He was acting
That
again.
is until Vegito stops pretending, and instead,
I knew
a
it.
truly
I just knew it.
unfazed and menacing smirk appears as the saying lets out, "Sorry, but I can't even bring myself to pretend anymore. I was losing my voice. But suffice to say, this level of destruction is nothing to me now."
Yeah, I can guess as much.
Leaving Arak completely taken aback, as for the first time he witnesses a
I mean,
mortal
now he's
resist
more powerful than even a
completely
god
the
or an
power of
angel,
destruction.
even together.
As he grunts
I would say
out,
that at this point he must be able to overpower all
"How
angels
is
and
my
gods of
Hakai
at the
not
same
even
time.
damaging him?"
He's much stronger than you, that's why.
Hey! And almost as if he was restarting an engine, Arak resorts to intensifying his Hakai even
Is that even
further,
gonna work?
in hopes this time he would finally begin erasing Vegito. But of course, this is far from the case, as the trap still in the web Vegito just continues to smile and in perfect condition. Now with a growing smile and baring his teeth, as if excited by the feeling, the God Killer lets out, "Listen, you wrinkled snail. Scream as much as you want. This isn't going to work.
Yeah,
All you're doing
it
right
seems
now
like it.
is giving me a little burn, a glorified tan, and it's starting to get a little uncomfortable. So I'll tell you this once, quiet down now before something bad happens."
I think it's only gonna happen either way.
Kai! But undeterred, the god just continues
He's not
his
gonna
destruction,
stop no matter what,
now
is
morphing his
he?
face as he roars to his highest decibel and unleashes the full power of his Hakai. The ball of Hakai now becoming so large and concentrated
Jeez.
that now even Vegito is completely unseen from the outside. But of course on the inside, Vegito appears still, but the Hakai seems to now have an effect as he looks to the top of his head and says,
Really?
"Not bad. Seems this worm has enough energy to at least begin erasing my hair. But I told him to stop. And now
Only
he
the
will
hair.
learn the hard way."
Ooh!
What? As shockingly,
Instantly as
almost
well.
in the instant that Vegito says those ominous words, a sharp slice appears across the neck of the destroyer. But it's not quite clear where from.
Ooh!
But perhaps more importantly, in the aftermath, Arak's head is lopped clean off, separating in a flurry of blood from his spurting torso. Until finally the cause is clear. In
the blade.
distance, stopping finally, is the Blade of Destruction, formerly owned by the first of the 5 strongest. And almost to add insult to injury, almost simultaneously, Vegito bursts forth from the so-called web of Arak and shamelessly yells, "Oh, and well would you look at that? I could have broken free from this weak excuse of a trap at any time I wanted to after all. Now it's time to finish you before you stop breathing, snail. Don't you die on me!"
Yeah, you are going to grow at
As
least
the
a little
God
bit.
Killer, now putting in effort
A
for
little
the first
boost.
time, yells as he makes his move and immediately grabs the still barely functioning skull of the destroyer with force, before
That's gonna
instantly
hurt.
zapping the energy from within him. So fast, it almost appears as if Vegito had unleashed the touch of death.
Damn.
Callously then dropping the deceased skull as he comments unimpressed, "What pathetic energy. Compared to
knew it.
God's, the energy of these gods and angels is disgusting.
Really?
I desire something far greater."
I guess that makes sense.
And almost in a payback of disrespect to being slapped earlier, Gogito then begins licking the blood off his
What?
chin, to then
Oof.
immediately then spitting it back out onto the dead face of Arak.
Damn, this is.
Kai!
Oh yeah.
Before, of course, then following up with his own signature Hakai, erasing Arak on the spot.
Yeah,
and
goodbye,
sending his
fish face
being
number 2.
to never be seen ever again. And now, all alone in Universe 5, Vegito remains in the air in silence, before landing on the ground with a small thud. And then looking into the air solemnly, he then lets out in deep thought, "So, the final days are coming. Now even the gods and angels are mere ants before. Could I beat the Grand Priest as I am now? I used to think I could. But if what God said was true, about 4 others, not even including that midget being far stronger than him, then I don't know anymore. But what I do know is, I need more of the energy of the 5.
Yeah, you definitely need.
Blade, come to me!" And poignantly, after talking about the 5, Vegito lifts out his arm and calls for the Blade of Gods, which had now become his own. And with a speedy burst of flight, the impossibly sharp blade follows his command and shoots straight to him. But just as the blade gets close, suddenly it is interrupted halfway through and struck by something that also sounds metallic in nature,
Another
leading
blade?
to the blade of destruction spinning out of control before stabbing into the ground nearby. What was that?
Yeah,
Leaving
another
Vegito
sword maybe?
shocked at first, having not sensed a single other being in the vicinity. Before immediately turning his head quickly to see just who it could be, yelling, "And whose death wish is it now? Another of the 5? But as Vegito looks into the distance, he can barely make
Wait
out
a
what the
second.
small figure is.
By the scene.
That is until we zoom in and on his
Trunks?
one knee, sheathing back the sword
No, wait,
he
it's
used to
actually
strike
Xeno
away the
Trunks?
blade of destruction is an adult-looking Trunks. From where, we don't know yet, but as he stands up tall, he's revealed to be wearing a large long coat and hair reminiscent of the Cell Zone. What? Trunks? And of course,
Not just
once
Intros, I
Vegito
think it's
sees
Xeno
this,
Trunks.
he too
From the
ends
Xenoverse.
up confused
If I have to
and
remember
shell-shocked
correctly.
as the rest
Dragon Ball Heroes, if I have to remember it exactly.
But that was it for today's video,
Whoa,
guys. If you
whoa,
made it
whoa,
this far,
what?
give me a hashtag Trunks in the
What?
comments.
What? What? Okay, I think that's spoilers, so I'll just start right now. Wow, that was just wow. Okay, I guess the next part will be something that will be covering this one. Wow, that's a big spoiler, but okay. Beast? Alright. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly did myself. So I'll see you guys in the next reaction. I'm Gogito. See you next time, everyone. Sayonara.